Hey guys, early morning video with come on, my co-host. Mwah. My co-host Roxas. Hello, little man. Mwah. Mwah. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Right? Mwah. Go on. Um, so I got this comment and I was actually gonna make a video about this again anyway. Because after watching the cinematic, which we're gonna watch parts of it just to so I can try to collect my thoughts. The initial reaction was just that initial reaction, and I said things, and I may want to say more or kind of elaborate on some things. But this is Little Witch, and they said, I don't think this saga is going to be much in the way of we need to find this magical MacGuffin to save the world type of expansion slash saga. I'm pretty sure that this time around, we are the MacGuffins. We are Xehanort. We are the MacGuffins being used by Azeroth to hasten her awakening as something that is neither Titan kind nor a Void Lord. Perhaps something that can use both with none of the drawbacks? Could be anything. Well, okay, so what I think makes Azeroth so special is that either she is in fact a combination of everything, so Fel, death, death, order, that whole, the cosmic chart that we see. She's either a combination of everything, which is what makes her so powerful and so desired, or she's a clean slate. And that's why everyone wants her. That's why the Void wants her. That's why the Fel wants her. That's why Death wants her. Because she's a clean slate. Right now, she's being pumped full of order. Order magic due to the Titans and their facilities all over the place and this and that. But considering she's not born yet, she hasn't emerged, so therefore there's still time for them to kind of, you know, yeah, I think she might be a clean slate. That's why everything wants to, like I said, the Titans are kind of pumping her full of order, but she hasn't been born yet, which means there's kind of time to kind of get control of her and start pumping her full of whatever else it is. If the Void gets her, they can start kind of reversing everything the Titans did and start getting her full of Void. But I think that's what makes Azeroth so special, is that she's a clean slate, or, again, she's kind of a mixture of everything, which people have kind of speculated on, which what makes her so powerful. And that even though she can wield all of it, she's still able to be corrupted and kind of, or not corrupted, but persuaded into other directions. But yeah, Azeroth, she's definitely different. The dragon aspects are now being empowered directly by her, and they outright said this is not Titan magic, which means it's something completely different. Even I said it when I saw that cinematic. I'm like, then what is it? It's obviously something different if it's not Titan magic. Which is basic order. It's order. That's what the Titans are. They're order. So, but then we have Xal'atath, which the things that she in here, just in this cinematic. So she says this.
All to fuel the black blood's power. My power.
So that could mean one of two things. It could mean that, she intends on taking that power and making it her own, or that is already her power. Now, we know she was sealed up in that, the dagger, the Blade of Black Empire. We don't know how she got there. We don't know why. Is it possible that she is the fifth old god that was defeated and sealed away? We don't know anything about. We have a mural of this possible old god. But wouldn't it be something? And we refer to Xal'atath as she because that's the form she's taken. But we don't know what her actual form is. Again, it could be an old god, or but we know there's a fifth old god somewhere. Um, and that be possible the fifth old god was imprisoned. Uh, not enough chains to go around. So she was imprisoned in Blade of the Black Empire. And it was like, oh, where there she'll remain for all time. And then we let her out. But when she says my power, again, one of two things. She plans on making that her power, incorporating it into her, or it was already her power. So Xal'atath obviously has a huge part to play. She's going to be the overarching villain, and we probably won't see a Ridicron till like the last Titan, when the Titans come back, because that's his whole purpose. He's waiting for the Titans to show up. So I don't think we're going to be seeing or hearing from a Ridicron for a while. So for several years, we're not going to be seeing anything from him, because he has no interest in anything. He just wants to take out the Titans. So they said that in Midnight, we'll be there at Ulduar when the Titans make their return, which means we'll be seeing Illidan again. But that's when Iridikron will kind of, oh, I've been waiting for you, Titans, and it's time for you to pay for what you did to my kind, and blah blah blah. Paraphrasing here. That's not what he said. It's not what he's going to say, but yeah, the fifth old god, Xal'atath. I mean, I hope she is just another being, like a being of the void, and that she isn't this fifth old god secretly. But considering she's like, oh, I've risen from the ashes of numerous empires, and I've gone through things you can't comprehend, and this and that. Is it good writing? I mean, it would play into what people have thought. So is that good writing? People are like, oh yeah, Xal'atath is the fifth old god. Maybe she is a fifth old god, just not nearly as powerful as her brethren. Which is why she was more easily captured, perhaps. But also now we have the Dark Heart, essentially out of commission for a while, thanks to Illyria and her sharpshooting, knowing exactly how Xal'atath would move, because you can see her kind of pull it back, and she kind of adjusts it because she knows that Xal'atath is going to move out of the way, and she's like, okay, I got a straight shot there. So it's not broken, but I think whatever power it was holding is kind of expended for the most part, so it's almost like she has to start over, which for her it's like no big deal. But we also see that our favorite Dadgar was actually inside, and at first everyone's like, oh, how do you do it? And then someone let me know, if you listen to the stay and listen, they tell you exactly how. So Khadgar, realizing what was happening, he kind of transformed himself into pure arcane energy, which is like, oh, how's he? It's Khadgar. It's Khadgar. Not only is he like almost guardian level power, but remember, he was an apprentice of Medivh, so he knows all these really cool tricks, life hacks, if you will. But he turned himself into pure arcane energy, and he says that it wasn't the Dark Heart doesn't destroy. It's meant to absorb power. So all he did was turn himself into arcane energy and just kind of get sucked inside of the Dark Heart. And unlike a Pokeball, where it's nice and lavish and suits the Pokemon's needs, I can only imagine what it was like for Dadgar inside the Dark Heart. Probably just kind of either a dark room where he just sat there, or he was just floating in what seemed like an endless void of black. So So clearly it took a toll on him, because when he comes out, he dies. He dies. He dies. He outright dies. But then Anduin kind of brings him back. So I said in the last video, for Khadgar, he was aged prematurely by Medivh, who was under the influence and taken over by Sargeras. So now that he has died, is he able to live a normal, like, has his life timer reset? Has he gotten back those years that were taken from him? Because most of the time, this thing with the rezzing, that's usually just a gameplay thing. This doesn't usually happen. Having a person bring back the dead. So, so does that mean his timer's been it's been reset and he can now age? So if he's, let's see, he was 16, 17 when Medivh aged him. He was 16, 17, and he was aged to look like a 60, 70-year-old man. Here we are, and he's probably about 45, 50. So, assuming that it's kind of a timer reset, a life reset, he'll probably be living till 100 something, 200 maybe. But we want to keep it. We're keeping him around forever. The Shadowlands is never getting this man, ever. And just the connection. I saw this. I love the connection between him and Illyria. They're really good friends, but they're also secret lovers. No, but they're like family. They were there together in Outland when the portal just, when they had to close the portal because they didn't. I mean, Ner'zhul was like, I'm going to open up all these portals, and the planet's like, I don't want to be a planet anymore. And they're like, okay, we don't have a choice. We can't afford to possibly risk Azeroth and whatever destruction comes here. We don't want that somehow bleeding through to Azeroth. So we got to destroy this portal. And thus they got essentially locked onto Draenor or Outland. So they've been through crap together, and clearly they have a mutual love and respect for each other. So I like to see their relationship. It's really nice. But now we have Anduin, who ever since Shadowlands is like, oh, I don't have faith in the light anymore. The light's abandoned me, and all that. And first off, like I said in the last video about this, people were like, oh, Anduin cries too much. He's like, he was being taken over by domination magic. Imagine you not having any control of your body, knowing what you're doing, but not being able to stop it. Knowing that you're causing harm and destruction and everything to the people and places around you. And you can't do anything about it. Yeah, how would you feel when you're finally out of that? Yeah, exactly. Leave Anduin alone. But here he comes out, oh, he is Manduin. He's looking up at that shard, and his music starts playing, and he's like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Illyria. Better move over. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it to Khadgar. But same thing with he kind of mentions where it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of like not fully back, but it comes and goes. Because you get to see a conversation with him and Thrall. Because Thrall says, like, oh yeah, it's good to see you back and you believing again. He's like, oh, it comes and goes. He's like, I don't fully, I'm not fully recovered from all of this. I still have a ways to go, but, I think I can call upon the light when I need it. I mean, especially with Thrall, because he's suffering the same thing. The elements still won't freaking talk to him. So, I mean, they both have to kind of, whatever doubt and whatever they have, they need to get over it. And not in a sense of, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But it's World of Warcraft. You can't really afford to have doubts and, all that, because then you're useful to no one. you know, your friends and family are gonna die, and you being like one of the only people who can stop it, it's just gonna happen because it's like, oh well, I don't believe in myself. Um, but it was nice to see Anduin kind of, and he also says it's because of his father. You know, he's like, you know, before my dad died, he sent me a letter, and it said to, you know, believe in the light and this and that, and that he didn't want me to be like him, because that's what Anduin's been trying to do. He's been trying to be like Varian, the great King Varian. Um, a gladiator, a king, uh, someone so powerful that he has the name of Logosh, the Ghost Wolf, because he earned that title. So he looks at his dad as this great, amazing person, and he's like, I can't live up to that. Like, I may be king, but look at all the amazing things my dad has done. And that's the reason why he's doubted himself so much, is because he's trying to be his father. And then he realizes that my father didn't want me to be like him. He wanted me to be my own person. And that, for him, he said it was the best gift that Varian could give him. Which is sweet. Varian. Good man. Um, but yeah, this moment right here where he kind of puts his faith in a light again. It's like, you know, it's like Tyrion said, put your faith in a light and all is possible. So, but this cinematic alone, the bit that happens afterwards, also freaking Khadgar and his floating wheelchair. I'm like, it's so crazy. Um, and of course his wheelchair was made by a certain mage who Khadgar possibly fancies. We might see a Khadgar love story in the future. I mean, the guy's back from the dead. He's got plenty of life now. I think he can afford to find love. I think he can afford to find love. But yeah, this whole thing with Xal'atath and also the moment right over here when she kind of disappears, just her voice. Yeah, the scream of just anger, and then she's like, this changes nothing, and just how she's, oh my god, the voices. The voices. And Illyria, gorgeous as always. But yeah, you see, this is what the Dark Heart does. It absorbs. It doesn't destroy. It just absorbs whatever it wants, whether it be arcane, void, whatever it is. It absorbs it. So Khadgar's like, I'm going to turn myself into arcane energy. So I think what we were seeing was him actually, when he was disintegrating, that was actually him kind of turning himself into energy. So that way, when it was absorbed into, because it could have been like a Kamui kind of a experience if he didn't, where it's like it rips off pieces of his arm. Oh, Xal'atath, our favorite Naifu waifu. I don't care what she looks like in the end, but right now she is 100% woman. She is 100% woman. I don't care. I don't care what she looks like in the end. She could be the fifth old god, tentacles and eyes, and I don't care. I don't care. I'll still see her as our Naifu waifu. And yeah, that's not going to change any of the art you find online. Um, but yeah, the implications with her and the old gods or the black blood, because all we see is like a tentacle, like a massive like tentacle, and it's kind of like no, it's like with Khadgar, no body, no death. You know, we know all the other old gods died. I mean, we were kind of there. But this fifth old god, we don't know. She might be the weakest of them, which is why she's more of a harbinger rather than full on revered old god. She's like the runt of the litter. But now she's the most powerful one because all her brethren are gone. Um, but between that, Khadgar coming back, possibly getting a timer reset, Anduin starting to believe in the light again. I think that's going to help us in the future, especially with Xal'atath, because his light against her void. So, I think full power, full on believer in the light Anduin will be a huge asset to us in the end. We've seen what he can do, but I think when he's fully committed, yeah, it's going to be terrifying what he can do. It is going to be terrifying what that man is going to be capable of. Hopefully we'll see a return of Medivh. I mean, they kind of hinted at Medivh, with some of the stuff with the trading post. You know, you have all this void stuff going on and stuff with Khadgar, and so we might see a return of Medivh. He just kind of left us, and he was like, "Goodbye, my friends. I'm off." So I think we might see him return of Medivh, not in this expansion, but possibly Midnight. That sounds like a good expansion for him to return. A return to Karazhan 2, Electric Boogaloo. But yeah, the quest line itself was great. The cinematic was great. But just the fact that it just raised so many more questions, especially about Xal'atath. I just, you know, in Azeroth, like I said, the comment with Azeroth, being able to wield both with no drawback. Again, I think either Azeroth is either a mixture of all, just the entire cosmological chart, just all those just in her, or she's a clean slate, which is why everyone's so desperate to get their hands on her, because then they can just, you know, well, you're now employed by the Fel, so we're just gonna pump you full of Fel magic, and then you're gonna come out as a creature of the Fel, and then the Void Lords are like, oh, we're gonna get you, and then you're gonna be a creature of the Void, and basically everyone's just trying to undo what the Titans have done. It's like, no, we're gonna get that order stuff out of you, and we're gonna fill you with tasty, delicious death. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. No, yeah. But I'd love to know what you guys think about Azeroth, about Xal'atath. Do you think she is the fifth old god? Because again, no body, no death. They said they were. I think they said the fifth old god was destroyed long ago. Were they? Or did they pull? Or did she pull like a Peter Pettigrew, where, you know, a finger was left and everyone thought she was dead? You know, they were dead because couldn't find a body except for like one tentacle and all that. So did she pull a Peter Pettigrew on everyone? But instead of transforming themselves into a rat, they transformed into whatever they needed to survive. So do you think Xal'atath is the fifth old god? What do you think about Azeroth? Because again, I think I said it already, but she does have a form. It's not physical yet, but she does have a form. Sargeras himself has seen what she looks like. You know, he when he was projecting and he fell through the planet, and she opened an eye and looked at him. So she has a physical form. So she's just not able to project that form yet. Like an avatar or something. But yeah, whatever you guys can think of. But yeah, great comment. especially with Azeroth, as we're finding out more about her. The fact that she's not a Titan, she's something more than that. She is 100% woman. Anyway, but yeah, let me know. But that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.